Hi everyone, this is Miss Evans, and I wanted to make a video talking about something that has come up as a concern from parents and students and families over the last few days. Now, I did address this in my classes yesterday on Monday the 2nd, and I did address this in my class announcements yesterday morning at 7:30 as well. But even with those, couple of things, I'm still getting some emails from students and parents. So I thought maybe if I give you this video and you could see some of the things I'm talking about, this could clear up any last misunderstandings and miscommunications that we're having. So what I'm going to show you is some screenshots of what I was finding when I was playing with the system and trying to figure out what you guys are seeing on your end and where the misunderstandings are happening. And when I do that in Canvas, I click a little button and it says view as a student. And so basically what that does is it allows me to masquerade or mimic what a student would see in my Canvas class. It's a really handy tool because then I get to see exactly what my students are seeing on your guys' end of Canvas, because my view of Canvas when I'm, acting as a teacher looks different. So what I did is I entered this test student view. And so you're going to see some things that say test student. And that's what that is I entered the test student view so I could see what you guys were seeing. And as I was going, I took some screenshots of what was on the screen so I could try to use these screenshots and explain to you what's happening. So the complaint I am getting, or I guess I shouldn't say complaint, the what families and students are seeing and thinking. They're seeing and thinking that I, Miss Evans, am giving them zeros for turning in late work. Or they're saying, hey, I turned something in and it's still a zero. What gives? Um, and I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. I am not giving students zeros for turning in late work, but I want to explain to you what this process is and how it works. So we are going to look at this Roaring Twenties assignment. And so every assignment is going to be given a due date. Assignments in my class are typically due Friday night at midnight. Now, when I say Friday night at midnight, technically that's 11:59 p.m. The way the school has instructed us to set up our grade books, and I actually really like this feature for a number of different reasons, is there's a setting in the grade book, and I think it's actually automatically turned on. I would have to go in and physically change it, but I don't plan on changing it. And what the setting says is when an assignment becomes late, automatically enter the grade as a zero. So if this assignment is going to be due at 11:59 p.m., what happens is at 12 a.m., the next minute, so the moment that the assignment due time has passed, if there is nothing submitted to that assignment, the program is going to do two things. It's going to automatically mark the assignment missing, and it's going to put a zero in the gradebook. Now, I like this feature because as a teacher, I don't have to go in and manually enter zeros on missing assignments. So anything that saves me time, I love little, shortcuts like that. But additionally, it kind of puts fire under students' butts when they see a zero in the gradebook. It reminds them, oh, I need to get that turned in. It really has been more effective. I've had students in previous years say, I like that because it's just one little extra reminder for me to get that turned in. And so that's what the program does automatically. So if you see a zero and it says missing, that means the program has automatically done that. I want to point out, if we're looking at the next assignment, you can see that for test student, it's not due until November 6th. And so there's nothing here. It hasn't been marked missing yet because the due time has not passed. We're also not seeing a score there yet either. So then what I did to show you guys what this is looking like is I went in as the test student and I submitted a fake assignment. So when I submitted a fake assignment, we're going to see some changes. Okay, and so the first change we're going to see is it has gone from being marked missing to being, oh, too far, to being marked late. So now the program sees that you've turned something in and it says it's no longer missing, it is late. Now, just like when, let's say a student turns in an assignment and I, the teacher, go in and grade it and I give you a 72% on it. And you say, wow, I want to redo that. You have a conversation with me, you do the reassessment form, and you turn it back in. The minute you turn in that assignment, you resubmit it, that 72 doesn't just go away. That 72 that was in the gradebook stays there until I, your teacher, come back, look at your new assignment, and enter a new grade. So in the exact same way that that process happens, the 0 that was entered by the program stays there and is going to stay a 0 until I, your teacher, open up your late assignment and assign you a grade. So what I think a lot of parents and families and students are seeing is this. They're seeing late assignment and they're seeing a big 0. And they're thinking Miss Evans is going in and giving my student a 0 for it being late. And that's not the case. The 0 from the assignment being missing is still there because the teacher hasn't gone in and assigned a new grade yet. All right, now I want to show you a little difference. I'm going to erase some of this between what a 0 assigned by the program looks like and what a 0 from your teacher looks like. So here we have a 0 from the program. Now I went in as a teacher and I actually graded the test students assignment, and I physically gave them a 0. And this is actually what the test student sees at this point. Now it looks almost the same, right? We'll zoom out a little. We're still seeing late. We're still seeing 0. The difference is over here we have a blank, and over here we see this little image, and that means the teacher has scored your work. So if you're not seeing anything right here, that's the program gave you the grade. If you are, if you're seeing this little guy, this little symbol, that means your teacher has actually gone in and given you a 0. So it's a very minor difference, and I do wish the difference between a program assigned 0 and a teacher assigned 0 was more noticeable. Unfortunately, I don't design Canvas. I don't make those decisions, but that is something that I want all of my families and students to get accustomed to looking for. All right, if you're seeing this little clipboard here, that means your teacher gave you the grade. Also, if you ever get a 0 from me, the only reason I would ever give you a 0 if you actually did turn in an assignment is because it was blank, all right? Which is the same as, turning in nothing. But if you ever do get a 0 or a low score from me, all of these little green assignment names are actually clickable. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a moment. So you can click on the assignment and go view the feedback and see, why did Miss Evans give me a 0? If I give you a 0, I'm going to leave you a comment telling you why. If you click on the assignment and you're not seeing any feedback from the teacher, then the teacher probably hasn't graded it yet. And you'll probably go back and see that there's no little clipboard right here. All right, so then to give you guys a little bit more of an understanding of what these things look like, I actually went back in as a teacher and I opened up test students assignment and I gave it a grade. And this time I gave that student's assignment a 72. And so now you can see the 72 there in the grade, and you still see the little clipboard. So not much has changed between this teacher assigned 0 and the teacher assigned score of 72. Obviously we like the 72 a lot more. It's a better grade. That's proficient. That's what we're looking for. So then if you were to click the assignment, you actually clicked this little green word here. It's actually going to open up the assignment, the submission details. And this is what that's going to look like. Now at this point, I do want to point out, this is not Max's assignment. This is test students assignment. I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit. So we're actually, we're still in test student here. When I was playing with the system, I uploaded the most recent PDF I had on my program, and it happened to be Max's assignment. So none of this is actually reflective of Max's performance on this assignment, okay? But when you click on submission details, you're going to see the assignment name. You're going to see the student name, when it was submitted, whether it was late. You're going to see the PDF that was submitted by the assignment or by the student. So if you were to click this PDF here, you're going to see the assignment on its, or the PDF on its own. You might see any comments from your teacher might come here. You can add your own comments here if you want to respond to some of your teacher's comments. But your two best friends are going to be this button right here, it says view feedback, and this button right here, which says show rubric. So I'm going to show you guys what those will look like. So let's see. Here we go. So this is actually test students submission details. I'm viewing this live. This is a live version of the screenshot I was just showing you. So if I click view, so if I click view feedback, this is what you're going to see. It's going to open a window. And again, it's a preview. It says Max Thomas. This is not Max Thomas's feedback or grades. It's just, you know. So you can see any of the little markers. Here we go. You can see any of the little markers, and then you can see the comment that I have left attached to that marker. Sometimes I use my stylus if I'm on my tablet and I handwrite in my comments, and you'll actually see those handwritten on the document itself when you click on view feedback. And so you can scroll up and down, you can see what I've said, you can read my notes. So that's the view feedback button. The other really important feedback tool I use, I recreate every rubric that is in students' assignments and in the learning guide on Canvas. And so if you as a student click on this show rubric button, you're actually going to access the digital version of the rubric, and you're going to see it's marked in green what part of the rubric your teacher or Miss Evans scored you on. So like, you know, playing around for an example, when I was fake scoring test student submission, I clicked 10 points on, let's see, which one is this? Professionalism. And you can see the points over here. Maybe I, as a teacher, I'm going to manually enter a 7. So I might mark you in this column. You're proficient, but you know, you're not full points. I'm going to give you a 7 over here. So then this is another example where the teacher clicked this part of the rubric. You can see where they're scoring you and what those points were worth over on the side. In here, let's see. There we go. I, as your teacher, as I am going through and clicking on this rubric, there's also places for me to use comments, leave comments specific to that portion of the rubric. So I've left a little example comment here, right? So you might see that you got 10 points, and then I've left a comment. And obviously my comment wouldn't say comment example, would say like, wow, here's how you did really well, or here's where, you know, you didn't do so great. Maybe try this in the future. So this is another place you're going to see these comments. I love using the rubric for scoring. It makes my life go a lot faster. Also, students become so accustomed to reading rubrics and seeing them. And because the online rubrics are identical to the rubrics that are going to be on the assignment itself, it makes sense, both for the student and the teacher. So that's what I wanted to show you here. And then actually, if I go back up to the top, I can click the little X and I can get out of the rubric. So view feedback, and show rubric are going to be your two best friends when you are looking at the teacher's feedback and you're trying to figure out why you got the grade that you got. If you're not seeing anything in the rubric or feedback, that's because your teacher hasn't graded it yet. So looking at this one, changes, it's missing, right? Teacher hasn't graded anything for test student. So you're going to see there's actually no view feedback button and there's no show rubric button. They're just not there because the teacher hasn't graded it yet. All right, so that, I believe, is what I wanted to show everyone. I know there was a lot of confusion about, parents and students thinking that zeros were going in the gradebook because assignments were late. I want to assure you that that is not the case. Zeros go in the gradebook when an assignment is missing. When it is submitted late, that zero is going to stand until the teacher goes in and enters a new score. I've also shown you guys how to tell the difference between when the computer gives you a zero, there's no feedback, and when the teacher gives you a zero, there's going to be some feedback and there's going to be some explanation about why. Also, just as a general rule, I'm going to make a quick note. As a teacher, it's my personal goal and policy to grade assignments within a week of the due date that it was assigned. So if something's, turned in 2 days late, it was due on Friday, I'm still probably going to try and get it graded by the next Friday. Now, once I do all my grading for an assignment, I do mark it off of my to-do list. And so if you turn it in after I have graded that assignment, so let's say I've gone through and I've graded all the Roaring 20s assignments, and then you as a student, I graded that, the Thursday after it was due, but you don't turn it in until the following Sunday after I've graded it, I'm not going to grade it that minute. It might still be up to another week before you get some feedback from me, but I'm always trying to get your feedback and get your work graded within a week of you turning it in. That also means that your total grade in Canvas is always going to be relatively accurate with, some wiggle room. So anything that you've turned in within the last 7 days might not be graded. And so this grade might not reflect those, ungraded assignments because the score hasn't been entered yet. All right, my friends, hopefully this clears up any confusion. If you have any questions or need some additional clarification, please don't hesitate to send me an email or reach out. I am happy to answer any questions. I know that Canvas is a new system to all of my families, and learning these little quirks and how to read the program, how to find things in the program. It's a process that we all have to go through, and I'm happy to help you through that. So thank you for your patience. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will talk to everyone another time.